What's going on, guys? Today we are going to walk through a reggaeton track in 2022 and see how these tracks are created, see what kind of elements are being used, what kind of drums are being used, what kind of sounds are being used, what plugins are being used to create the sound that's out today. Now you can listen to these type of songs from Guru Randhawa, from Balvin, from Bad Bunny to pretty much any top 40 tropical reggaeton pop track that's out there. So let's hop into Logic Pro, let's check and see what plugins, what type of sounds are being used. So we're in Logic Pro. As you can see, I have 55 tracks. Now, a lot of them are actually tracks from my percussion and my snare instruments. So I'm really only using one or two sounds. So you can really see it's about 20-25 tracks that I'm using. So let's do a little playthrough of what this sounds like. And then we're going to go through and break down each different instrument as well as different plugins and sounds that I'm using. So let's play it through. Alright, so that's pretty much what's going on. Now, the key element here is the plug. So let's listen to the plug by itself. It's a plug from Nexus called Chemistry, and let's play that. Now you can see I'm not doing anything to the plug, but what I am doing is I'm sending it to a plug and a melodic channel, but I am also layering this sound. So let's listen to that other sound that I'm layering it with. Now this is giving it that top end, so let's play the plug with and without this other plug. Pretty cool. Now it adds that top shine to it. Now the next thing we're going to add is these strings. Now again, these strings are right from Logic. They're the string ensemble pizzicato. All right, and then we have this one more piano that's just playing literally the chords on the first. All right, so once that is done, that pretty much covers the melodic spectrum of the tracks. So let's play all the melodic elements together. Next thing we have is the bass, so let's go through the 808 sounds that I use. Now this one is from Vital, amazing synth. If you haven't heard about it, go and grab it. Now that's just adding the top end to the 808 that's being used, and again, this is the 808 that's being used. Now, if you don't know how to bend 808s, I pretty much brought a 808 right in here. I'm converting it to mono and adding a glide. And once you have all of that, just make sure there are overlapping notes like this and your 808s will bend. So let's play the 808 as well as the melodic section. All right, so let's just keep adding things to it. Now, the first thing that you're going to hear is this kick that I'm adding. Now, this is a kick that was in D, which is in with the key of the song. So make sure to pick your kicks that are in the key. Now, there is this amazing plugin called Noctonal. Now, I felt that a lot of the frequencies in the D spectrum and its resonant frequencies were cutting in too much. So I pretty much chose that frequency and I'm reducing it. Now let's play it with and without this plugin. So you can see it just sits in the track a bit better. Now, if you are interested in buying this plugin, I'm going to leave a link in the description. You can go and buy that. And then I had to add another kick that's right here. So let's listen to that. Now that's just more for the clickiness of the kick. So when you play both of them together, it sounds like this. All right, so then we have the melodics as well as the bass and the kick. The kick is sidechained to the bass. Wow, bass bus. The kick is sidechained to the bass bus, and as you can see that it's being sent out to bus 1 without any kind of output. And when you go to the bus that has all the basses routed, you can see Pro C is taking in input from bus 1. All right, so let's go and add the grooviest part of the track, which is the snare. Here's the first snare. And then I had to add a second snare to make it more beefier. All right, and then what we have is a set of hi-hats. Again, another hi-hat loop. Let's add some shakers. And then just to really drive the rhythm, now pay attention to the difference that this particular cymbal hat makes on every downbeat. I'm going to enable it just a little bit after the playback. It really just adds that atmosphere that the track was lacking. And once you play all of that together with some effects and risers and drops, this is what it sounds like. And as you can see, there is a sample that I'm using from Splice. Now I chopped the sample up the way I liked it to fit in the track, and that's pretty much how this track was created. And then I have a top line that I was working on with this tenor sax. Just so if I have a singer and I want to write a top line to it, that's what I would do. I would have a sample of what the melody would sound like ready. Now, the way I'm routing these things are I am routing everything to pretty much 4 different buses: drums, melodics, the effects, and the bass, and then I have the top section as well. The FX section really isn't doing much, it's just doing some EQing, but one of my favorite plugin is the Smart EQ. I'm pretty much adding it to each channel and I'm telling it which algorithm to use. In this case, it's the drums. So let's actually just listen to pretty much basic changes that I've done using Smart EQ, and that's literally the first thing that comes in. So I'm gonna play the track with them enabled and then disable it. It is really a phenomenal plugin. Now, this is definitely not a Swiss Army knife. I am doing a lot of manual changes into this metric Halo channel that I use. I love this plugin. It's amazing for vocals. It pretty much has a compressor, EQ, a limiter, everything that you would need to do basic things to a track built in. And then also obviously side chaining the bass, as I mentioned earlier. And then for mastering, I'm really just doing a bit of compression, tube EQ, and then I'm again using a mastering preset that I found in the metric Halo channel strip, and I tweaked it a little bit. So that's pretty much this track. I really didn't do any reverbs or any kind of delays other than what was built into Nexus or Vital or any kind of presets that I loaded up into Logic Pro X. But that's pretty much the anatomy of this track. Let's take a listen to it again. So that was a quick tutorial on how to make a 2022 sounding reggaeton track in Logic Pro X. We saw the sounds, we saw the plugins, and we saw the overall treatment on how to create the track. So if you like the content, make sure to hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment on what you want to see next, and also make sure to share this with a friend that's going to find it helpful. Keep making some dope music. See you at the next one.